Here's the Philadelphia Eagles, I believe. Are they 8-2? I believe. One of the best teams in the NFC, one of the best teams in football. And there seems to be a lot of controversy surrounding Jalen Hurts. Our guy, or my guy, Seth Joyner, last week made some comments, or maybe it was early this week, made some comments about Jalen Hurts and some consternation in the locker room. And that has kind of engulfed Jalen Hurts. Let's start with SOT 10,
Hmm.
Seth Joyner talking about Jalen Hurts.
How much of this, though, in your opinion, is on Jalen?
It's troublesome because I work with the Eagles insider, and we had an in-depth conversation last night in our post-game show, and it seems to him that there's some consternation when it comes to Jalen, not only in the locker room but in the organization, and that's problematic because from the outside looking in, you would never think that. As a coach's son, you would never think that. There's certain things and certain ways that he likes to run things, and there are things that they run in practice that, they get in the game and he goes off on his own tangent. And to me, that's problematic. I would say that it is a.
Are you talking about like the 4th and 6 last week?
Yeah,
That's
and
what we're pointing at?
that and other things. I have it on fact that, the interception that he threw in the first Giants game to Flott on the sideline when AJ was wide open, that in practice he threw that ball to AJ a few times. You get in the game and you're not patient enough to wait for it, and you throw the out route, and it almost turns into a pick six. Then last week, the 4th down, they're supposed to run the slant. You look, AJ's, Devontae's wide open. You got Dallas on the other side wide open, and you're chucking the ball 60 yards in the air trying to, so, and Devontae confirmed that 1 and 11 made the change on their own. See, to me, that's borderline insubordination when you're not running plays the way that the coach is drawing them up, or you think that you know better than the coach. So he bears a lot of the responsibility. I mean, he wasn't great last night. 50% completion for a guy that's been right around 70 all year. And I get it. He got 3 drops. I get it. But that happens to every quarterback. But there are some plays there
really
to be made that he did not make.
Yep,
that he missed.
Philadelphia Eagles are 8-2, and Jalen Hurts is engulfed in partially because of AJ Brown. But the thing I know about Seth is he's been a big defender of Jalen Hurts, and to hear him say that his inside information is that not everybody's super comfortable with Jalen Hurts and some of the decision making, I find it fascinating. What's your reaction, Steve?
The word that stuck out from Serious Seth: insubordination. That is a big, like, wow. Jason, I don't know if you agree with me or not. I actually have sided a little bit more with A.J. Brown in this whole situation. And I get it. He shouldn't be speaking out to the media so often, and maybe some of his antics have turned people down. But I understand his frustration in the sense that this is a Pro Bowl caliber player with a real track record who understands as a receiver, I have to be a little bit selfish for this team to really maximize its effectiveness. Look at the numbers he's put up throughout the years. He's a really good player. I'd say he's one of the better receivers in the game. And all he's doing is out there running around. I don't know if he's running around aimlessly, but if you're practicing a certain play and you get a look and you get the play call and you execute your part and you turn around and the ball's already out, and that happens time and time again, and then it impacts you financially because you're based on numbers. I get A.J. Brown's side. And the fact that Seth, who I think is very, very no frills, he's a truth seeker, right? And he's not afraid to speak his mind. I think that is troubling because when you look at Jalen Hurts, I do not see a Super Bowl winning quarterback this season.
Oh, I'm glad you added this season. I was like, what happened
this season.
last year?
Well, no, look, Jason, he looks nothing like that guy 2 seasons ago that nearly won the MVP. It just looks like a completely different guy.
Uh, let's Jalen Hurts got asked about this. Let's play shot number 9. Hurts' reaction.
There are frustrations from your teammates or coaches with you. Do you feel like you're open to them coming to you with them?
Well, I can't get into hypotheticals of if. Ultimately, it's about coming in here and working and leading and bringing good energy and going out there and showing about how you work. You know, at the end of the day, we come out here we are here to play as a team and to play together and go out there and find ways to win. And so that's where we all have our focus at.
So those things haven't been brought to you directly.
I don't want to get into that. I know it hasn't though.
How about you personally?
Y'all bring it to me. I mean, I think it's a bit of a different thing. Again, I don't want to get into the weeds of anything ultimately.
But from a personal level, that's what I was going to ask you about. How you I assume you get frustrated at times with certain things. How do you sort of overcome that?
It comes with the nature of it. You know, everybody's going to have an opinion, and I give a lot of respect to those things. Ultimately, we're all here to do the same thing, and so it's about the pursuit of that. And I've always encouraged trying to work together to achieve that.
Fascinating. He's going through a different version of something Donovan McNabb went through when he was the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback. And Donovan's problems were with Terrell Owens. And next thing you know, it was kind of a problem just in the locker room, that the locker room kind of sided with Terrell Owens and people kind of turned on Jalen Hurts. Jalen, Donovan McNabb was seen as I don't know. You know what he seemed like? Just keeping it real. Donovan McNabb remember he was doing chunky commercials with his mom and his dad. I think Jalen Hurts is another 2-parent kid, black kid. And it feels like those guys struggle in the locker room more than the Lamar Jackson types. No?
See, I'm surprised. I wouldn't have gone there because I'll make this defense of Donovan McNabb. I thought McNabb did a lot more with a lot less than Jalen Hurts. Keep this in mind. Terrell Owens only lasted a season and about 6 games with Philadelphia. They had that great 2004. They made that Super Bowl run. Terrell Owens made that historic comeback or heroic comeback against the Patriots, and then he blew up his career basically at that point. So, but in all the other years, I remember Donovan McNabb making a lot of Pro Bowls and carrying the Eagles offense that didn't have that many weapons outside, very pedestrian wide receiver crew, and made a lot of Pro Bowls. And I said, man, if you ever got him a weapon, this guy would be unbelievable. And when he got Terrell Owens, they had a great year. So I think it's a little bit, I wouldn't have gone with the whole mother-father angle. I just think it's that Donovan McNabb, unfortunately, never got to a Super Bowl where he won it. He went to 1. See, Jalen Hurts is in an interesting position now, Jason, the way I look at it. When you win a Super Bowl as a starting quarterback and you're pretty good, you get immunity to a certain degree. Because no matter what criticisms are levied, the defense will always be, yeah, but that guy's a leader, led a team to a Super Bowl. But generally that immunity only lasts for at least a few seasons. It seems to me that immunity is already eroded after 9-10 games, which I find interesting.
Let me throw another log on my 2-parent family deal. Russell Wilson. Why does it seem like the buttoned up Jalen, Donovan McNabb before we found out he had a drinking problem, and now Russell Wilson, Jalen Hurts, and Donovan McNabb? There does seem to be a personality type that runs into some turbulence among wide receivers and or cornerbacks, the louder diva-ish type black players in the NFL. Like what you saw? Hit that like button, subscribe, and check out the full episode by clicking the link below.